The dramatic fallout from last week's twist continues to shake Coronation Street as secrets unravel and confrontations dominate. Still grappling with the shocking reality that her ex-lover Becky is alive, DS Lisa Swain is determined to dig out the truth. In gripping moments set to air soon, the investigator corners her superior Costello at work, insisting he come clean or face the consequences. At the same time, Kit Green makes it obvious that he's watching Carl Webster closely, sparking a heated clash between them inside the corner shop. Elsewhere, Tyrone Dobbs recuperates in hospital after the brutal hit-and-run, with Evelyn Plummer loyally staying by his side. If all this sounds like your kind of drama, then you're in for a treat. 3 exclusive sneak peek clips preview next week on The Cobbles. Lisa storms into Costello's office, demanding answers about his ties with Becky. Though Costello argues the station isn't the place for such discussions, Lisa refuses to back down, locking the door to prevent any disturbances. To show she means business, Lisa warns that she'll go to the media if he refuses to cooperate. But will she uncover the truth she's hunting for? Carl fumes when Kit confronts him at the shop, taunting him and promising to keep a close watch on his every move. With Fiona expecting a meeting later, Shady Carl is riddled with anxiety. Can he throw Kit off the trail? Meanwhile, Tyrone remains shaken from the accident, unloading his frustration onto Evelyn. She empathizes with his pain, but also worries about the toll it will take on Fizz, while promising that she and Cassie will provide all the support they can. Is Tyrone leaving Coronation Street? Star reveals life-changing fate. Coronation Street viewers were left in shock this week when fan favorite Tyrone Dobbs was unmasked as the unfortunate resident caught up in a hit-and-run, with actor Alan opening up about the dramatic twist. Poor Tyrone was struck down by Dylan Wilson and Brody Michaelis, who lost control of a stolen car while swerving to avoid Betsy Swain during Carl Webster's criminal car racket. Discussing the secrecy of the plot, Alan revealed, "Often details of future storylines make their way into the press, but this one didn't, and I think it genuinely surprised people. We filmed it over 2 months ago and no one had any idea." No one would have guessed it was Tyrone who ended up being hit, so it was a genuine shock. It's always exciting to keep the audience guessing. I can't wait to watch it back and see the reaction. The chaos unfolded as Dylan and Brody sped past George Shuttleworth, who was horrified to realize Dylan was at the wheel. When they reached the precinct, they spotted Betsy, who was recording a message for Dylan while trying to call her mum, DS Lisa Swain, before letting out a terrified scream as the car swerved away from her and smashed. Carla Connor and Lisa raced to Betsy's side, only for her to be horrified at the sight of paramedics tending to an injured man on the ground, revealed to be Tyrone. Alan explained about the big reveal. The sequence was filmed so that viewers didn't immediately know who'd been run over or who was behind the wheel. You don't actually witness the stunt itself, so the victim and driver stay hidden. It made the moment Tyrone was revealed far more dramatic than simply showing the collision or even letting the audience know he was at the precinct beforehand. Tyrone was quickly rushed to hospital, with wife Fizz Dobbs and mother Cassie Plummer following closely behind. Alan opened up about Tyrone's state of mind when he first regains consciousness. As you'd expect, his initial reaction is total confusion. He can't remember the events leading up to it, and he has no idea why he's ended up in hospital. As the fog clears and the pain intensifies, he suddenly realizes something's terribly wrong. He has no sensation in his legs. There's an overwhelming sense of fear trying to figure out what happened and why his body feels like this. He's utterly terrified. Asked about Tyrone's openness with his loved ones, Alan explained, he waits until he's alone with Fizz to talk, not wanting to alarm the rest of the family, especially his daughters. Once he begins to grasp what's happened and why he can't move his legs, he knows he needs the support of those closest to him, because at heart, he's a true family man. But overall, there's a deep fear about what this means for his future. He'll want to stay strong for everyone else, but that's going to be a huge challenge. Is Tyrone about to depart Coronation Street? Since this storyline focuses on his road to recovery, the character isn't leaving anytime soon. Alan added, "At first, there's a terrifying question over whether he'll ever walk again. That fear isn't just Tyrone's. It's shared by Fizz, the children, and his mum and gran. None of them know what the future holds, but they'll face it together." In a new spoiler clip, Tyrone confides in his grandmother, Evelyn Plummer, admitting his biggest worry is the pressure his condition will put on Fizz. Alan explained, "Tyrone knows full well that much of the responsibility will fall on Fizz, looking after the children, managing the house, and keeping everything running. He doesn't want to add to her burden by piling his own worries on top." Tyrone's heart is always in the right place, but sometimes he doesn't handle things in the best way. Even now, instead of simply opening up to Fizz and sharing what he's going through, he tries to protect her by keeping it to himself, when honesty would actually help. When asked whether the police are close to catching those behind the crime, Alan admitted, "There's a real sense of frustration that no progress is being made. Tyrone and the whole family want justice. He at least wants to know who was responsible. The anger over the lack of answers is very real." To ensure accuracy, the Spinal Injuries Association has been working with the soap's team throughout this storyline. They stated, "We're thankful to ITV and Coronation Street for shining a spotlight on the devastating consequences of spinal cord injuries, from sudden paralysis to long-term pain and mobility challenges. The charity has provided medical expertise and advice to make Tyrone's story as authentic as possible. Showing how his injury impacts both him and his loved ones, particularly Fizz, will help raise awareness of the struggles faced by the 105,000 people in the UK living with spinal cord injuries, many of whom find it difficult to access the proper care and support they need." Reflecting on how the charity has supported his portrayal of Tyrone's recovery, Alan shared, "The production team is fantastic when it comes to research. The challenge with a spinal injury is that no two cases are the same. So when I speak with the on-set medical experts, I find myself asking things like, how far would I be able to move my shoulders? How much movement might I have in my neck? But the truth is, everyone responds to surgery differently, which means there's no fixed timeline for recovery. That gives us some flexibility in the storyline, though it also presents its own difficulties. What's most important is remembering that there are viewers at home who are actually living this experience. The charity is even setting up a meeting with someone who's been through a similar journey, which will be invaluable in giving me a deeper understanding." As for Tyrone's future, the full extent of his lasting injuries remains uncertain. And when it comes to those responsible, it looks like steps will be taken to keep their secret hidden. Could Tyrone's pursuit of justice be doomed? Coronation Street continues Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 p.m. on ITV1, with episodes also available on ITVX.